for this shave, I am going to be using, this is the 4th use of my Blackland dart, newly acquired, and inside it will go this PolSilver blade. This has been used twice already. The soap we're going to use is one of my favorite brands that's not one of the big ones, and Mystic Water soap. And just a wonderful, wonderful lather. Well, the first time I tried it, really going to enjoy it. The brush we're going to use is this B5 knot from Declaration Grooming. It's on a Whip Dog tall handle made for 24mm brushes. For adding water to the lather, I'm going to use this. For making the lather, I'm going to use this Dollar Tree melamine bowl. So far, I'm kind of liking this shape. First, let's get the badger to soaking. This is optional. It's not required. A lot of people don't do it, and a lot of people do. Just to try it both ways, see if you can tell the difference and see what you prefer. The people who don't, just kind of hold it under the water and just work with the brush and just make sure all the bristles get water, you know, rub it around a little bit and then set it aside, you know, so that's a possibility as well. I just like to let it soak. All right, let's put, this is the wonderfully designed and styled, feels great, even when wet, nice secure grip. And the balance I really find pleasing. About 1.25 inches away from the tip of the head is where the balance is. And then here's the head, base plate. Got some of those tooling marks that some people complain about, but that was part of the original design. It keeps the cost down. They don't have to use up that time polishing. And then here's the top cap, kind of sharp-ish edges. You could get cut with them if you tried hard, but I don't think you could get cut if you weren't trying. Probably something one could buff down. The top of this plate is one of maybe the things that people are kind of up in arms about. But again, he did it to save money, to be able to offer a fully machined American, completely American stainless steel razor for the price that he did. So let us put that blade in. This razor so far has kept every blade I've put in it in perfect alignment. So that is fun. Don't have to worry about that. And there we go. All right. I'm going to take my measuring spoon. This is a 1/4 teaspoon. I have found through many soaps that a 1/4 teaspoon of most soaps will get you 4 passes of lather or more, with a few exceptions. There's a few that require a little bit more than this. And so that's what I start out with. So that's a 1/4 teaspoon, and I'm going to press it into the bottom. In a sense, I like this method because I know exactly how much soap I'm using. I know that, you know, if I've used this soap base before, then I know that I'm going to have enough lather. I don't have to worry about maybe if I pushed hard enough when I lathered from the puck, you know, loaded from the puck. If I pushed hard enough, waited long enough, counted for long enough, or whatever. So there's a 1/4 teaspoon spread in there. Oh, that's rinsing that off my fingers. It's just forecasting the slickness that this soap has. Okay, the soap we're going to use is the Irish Traveler scent. I am a sucker for the kind of the green Irish tweed clones. I believe this is what Mystic Water is offering for that. All right, we already hooked that out. The razor's ready. I think we're ready to give my face a rinse. last time I shaved, it was 24 hours ago-ish. It was a little irritating by the time I got to the third pass. I was using what blade? It was a Personna Chrome is what it said on the blade. I believe that was from a box that said it's the inexpensive kind of Personna that says Personna Comfort Coated. You know, you get 100 of them in a little box that's this big, and they're a plain white envelope. So that one was rough. It wasn't as rough as the Gillette 7 o'clock black. The Gillette Silver Blue was good. So we're 1 out of 3 has been good for me. That may not be for you. Remember, blades are subjective. All right. So we're going with the, which one did we decide to go with today? Oh yeah, PolSilver. So we're going with a different brand. Get out of the Gillette brand for a second. I'm going through all the popular blades just to help people, because maybe somebody out there with skin like mine, hair like mine, that would benefit from this. But even if you don't have skin or hair like mine, it's possible that one of the things that we can learn is this is a razor for some people where half of their blade collection may work well and the other half won't. So it all depends on your face. If you've got a face with stronger skin than mine, then you might find all these blades that I don't like, you might find, for this razor, you may find them to be very acceptable. So, I mean, at least maybe it's a starting point of information. All right, now we've got our bowl. I'm going to take the brush. This has been a wonderful brush. I think we're in its maybe 10th use now. And as you can see, it is very dense. And I shook pretty much all the water out of it with Mystic Water. Mystic Water is a soap that you want to approach with water very slowly. It's best if you come at it like this with just that damp brush with all the water out of it. You know, a lot of people, and justifiably so, because many soaps you can do this with, they will take their brush out of the sink or wherever it's been soaking or whatever, and they'll do that a couple times, and then so that will leave a certain amount of water in the brush, maybe 2 teaspoons, I don't know. But it leaves a significant amount of water, latherly speaking, in the brush. And that much water usually overwhelms a Mystic Water soap. And that's why a lot of people gripe about it. And so come at it first with kind of this damp. And now it's not quite coming alive, and that's okay. We got this kind of a very sticky paste, a light paste. And now I will take my syringe, and in a way, this is not any different than I treat any other soap. I do them all this way, especially new ones, until I figure out exactly what parts of this I can skip. I just add half a teaspoon of water and just start mixing. And so for me, for my method of building a lather, this is no different from any other soap, and it performs great. Some people don't want to work for it. They have their method of loading lather, and so if they come across a soap that doesn't work with that method, you know, and that is fine. That is okay. You can be whatever kind of shaver you want to be. All right, so I mix that up. My syringe is on an opposite side as usual. The water I'm using is cool water. It's from the tap, and but here at this location, it is soft water, so that's nice. So already we are getting, what have we got? Yeah, we got 1 teaspoon of water in the mix here. This brush doesn't have as big of a loft as all of my other Badger brushes, and seems to take a little longer to mix up the lather. But this lather is looking tremendous. It's got a nice medium sheen on it. It's looking very nice. I like the scent. Just adding half a teaspoon each time. Mixing it in. I've learned, I used to try to mix it in totally, completely, but I learned that you don't have to do that all the time. Because that first one that you mixed in, it's going to get mixed in by the time you've, put in the one after that, and so it'll get mixed in. It's just you have to stop at the very end and make sure it gets mixed in properly so you know when to stop, Looking very nice. And with this brush, a lot of times the lather that it builds is, I'm going to guess the air bubbles inside are just maybe smaller than usual, and maybe that's because of the density of these hairs. And so a lot of times I don't need as much water with soaps with this brush. It also means I get less volume, but sometimes that's fine because it's more dense. So definitely going to evaluate this soap after this 2 teaspoon amount has been added. I'm going to bring it all down. Oh, that's a good scent. I got a good whiff of it right then. Bring it all down. Let's look at how the peaks work out. Man, that is a nice, dense, yogurty. Normally, you see this firmness. It's not really moving too much. It's not flopping around. They're not super long peaks or anything. But now that part is because it's really thin right there. But normally I would keep adding water at this point. But I've learned that with this brush, I should check with my fingers. I like that slickness. A little bit of cushion. I should probably stop now. And put a little water on my face. And I'll treat this as my kind of pre-shave. Maybe remove a little bit of the oils from my skin before the main lather comes in. All right. We are ready to go. Man. So the last 2 shaves with this dart have not been pleasant, and it's the blade that I've been using because the GSB blade that I used was great. It gave me a very good shave, very smooth. I do not want to repeat the ones I've had with the 7 o'clock black. It was the roughest so far, where I just almost wanted to quit midway through my 3rd pass. And all this irritation that I'm talking about is just on my neck. On my cheeks, it's been fine. I also do not shave against the grain, so it gives me way too much irritation. This feels wonderful. Creamy, luxurious. Partly because of the lather, partly because of the brush. We want to get a nice, slick, protective layer. We don't want it to be too thick, because if it's too thick, that means it's kind of relatively dry. And then that, at least in my experience, this is just what I've gathered by how it feels and all that. If it's too dry, it just doesn't seem to bond with the skin and form a good protective layer. It looks nice on camera. It looks nice with that brush, pointed up with a big dollop of shaving lather on it. But it doesn't really bond with the skin, and it doesn't give it the protection and slickness that it could get if it was a little more well hydrated. All right, PolSilver. See how it goes. Audio feedback. Not feeling tons of slickness right now. Who knows, maybe I mixed this a little too dry, but we'll see. The other shaves have started out this way too. Reasonably comfortable. But then on my neck, the irritation just kind of builds. Until by the third pass you are not, and I'm not looking forward to what's about to happen. Especially over in these areas over here. Have to figure out, and this is, you know, it's probably normal for this razor seems to sit right at the edge of my comfort zone, which means that some blades are going to be good. Some blades are going to be comfortable, and some blades are not. Some blades are going to be evil. But you know what? Maybe when we're at the bleeding edge of comfort here, maybe that means that we're on the cusp of greatness. When you find the one that works with you, then you've got the just a great combination. But in the meanwhile, I am learning how to walk that line, how to maybe, I might be improving my technique. That rule about shaving lightly, you know, this is the kind of thing that really makes me focus on that. Okay, I have no irritation right now. Let's hope it doesn't build. A little face splash. Hoping to find a handful of the blades that I have that let me use this dart in an enjoyable, comfortable way. Okay, I'm going to take off the excess drops, just in case. I don't want to get it too thin. With this brush, not a lot of the soap stays in the middle because of the density, and so you can see how the and many brushes are this way, not just a high density one, but you got to let it come off the sides there and then spread it around. Nice. There we go. All right, Dart. His big brother, the Blackbird, is more aggressive. But with the wrong blades, it feels just as aggressive as the Blackbird, in my experience. I'm already getting a little irritation over here. I need to be careful of that area. Okay. Also, one of my habits is kind of the blade buffing, where you shave multiple times over a certain area. Maybe this razor is not one where I can do that. So if you're looking for a mild razor that's going to give you a lot of comfort, then this probably is not it. Unless you have really tough skin. Very light touch. Is called for here. So far, if you have skin like me, then this razor is kind of a challenge. You know, one thing I'm going to try is changing my handle angle a little bit. Instead of what feels like the most optimum setting. Maybe I'll do that for the third pass here. So far, I feel a little bit of irritation now, mainly over here where I mentioned before. Not really anywhere else. A little rinse. Nice, this lather is slick. All right. Yeah, there's plenty of hair there left to cut. It's possible that I'm being so careful with it that it's skipping over the hairs, you know? Who knows? Third pass. All right. Looks like I'm going to have enough lather to do the job. So it looks like a quarter of a teaspoon is probably just right, at least for what I like to do. If you stop at 3 passes, then it looks like maybe you could back off from the quarter teaspoon. All right. Here we go. Third pass. PolSilver. What I'm doing right now is lowering my handle angle, make it a little closer to the face, just to see if that is something that this razor respects. So far, the comfort is vastly different. Wow. But as we know, just because it's comfortable doesn't mean it's cutting. Go backwards here. thought right now is that I've struck gold. Lowering that handle, well, we'll see. I'm going to hold it off. I'm going to go ahead and do the fourth pass, which is something I usually do. Let me go ahead and dab my face a little bit. With the two previous failed attempts, with the 7 o'clock black and the Personna Comfort Coated, I did not lower the handle angle. I did not bring the handle a little closer to my skin. And I was not able, because of the irritation, to do a fourth pass. Normally in my shaves I do a fourth neck only pass. All right. My natural inclination is to shave and pick the angle that feels like it's cutting the best. I think maybe that has been an angle that where the handle is a little too far out from the face. I think this is maybe the angle that I've been using, and it looks maybe like a 30 or something like that. But this last pass, I brought it in maybe 5 degrees. I don't know. And I feel like I'm able to do the fourth. So let's just, oh yeah, look at that little cut right there. All right, let's try this out here. Very slow. Now this is feeling a lot more like my other razors. If I feel it starting to be more rough, then I close my handle angle just until, while I can still hear it cutting, you know, close it in just a little bit more. It starts to be predictable. It starts to be not irritating at all. The blade is still kind of has a little bit of the audio to it. You might be able to hear it, but the comfort is just vastly improved. Now I hope the result is improved as well. All right. But you know, we can't tell. We can't tell how it is until we rinse and do a little drying. It always looks better when it's kind of got that gloss of the lather on it, the remainder of the lather. I'm going to pause you and rinse. Well, it wasn't the miracle that I thought it would be, but it is a much better result than the past 2 days. And comfort is there. And so what I feel like is with further tries, where I fully use the slightly closed angle method, because see, the first 2 passes here I was using the normal angle, and so perhaps that didn't give my the blade and the hairs kind of a head start at good cutting. And so I'm looking forward to tomorrow when I can do four normal passes with the slightly more closed angle. And irritation on my face right now is nowhere near where it was yesterday and the day before with the 2 blades that I've mentioned that did not go well. So PolSilver for me, with the a little bit closer of an angle where the handle is a little closer to your face seems to be the way to go for comfort and closeness. There, I do see one or two hairs where I see some length, but most of them, all I see are tips or they're cut flush, and I'm very happy about that. That is above average. If someone were within 3 feet of me, say an elevator or something at work, I think they would see the shave and not have a problem and think it was a good, successful, close shave. So I'm very happy about that. I wish I would have thought about doing that previously, but that's another day. So there we go. Really happy about that. And this soap was terrific. Just this competes. Mystic Water. To me, this stuff competes with the normal bases of any soap out there. Barrister and Man, Holy Cow, Declaration Grooming, all those guys. And it's half the price. For I think $11 you can get a 4-ounce puck of this, and it's in some cases it's more than half the price. So and as you can see with me, with my lathering method, no problem at all. Just no problem at all. That's actually my normal lathering method, and so I don't think it's really that difficult. I don't think I'm jumping through any hoops that are unreasonable. All right, man. By the third pass on my 2 previous shaves with the dart, I was dreading the third pass on my neck. I was being so tentative. Irritation was already there, and I knew I was just generating more. But not so with the third pass with this new angle technique, and then the 4th pass as well. No problem at all. So can't wait for tomorrow. Grow hair, grow, right? Okay, let's show you how much lather we have left. 1/4 teaspoon of soap was used, of Mystic Water, Irish Traveler. The scent, kind of weak in general. Obviously, when you stick your nose in it like I just did, you're going to get it. But it was I'd say maybe a 2, maybe a 3 out of 10 while in use. But we have this much lather left over, probably enough for 2 passes, I reckon. And that's pretty good. Pretty good for a 1/4 teaspoon. And just nice. Man, that's just good lather. How much water did we use? Yep, just the 2 teaspoons of water. So there we go. Be interesting to see maybe an experiment next time to take that same 1/4 teaspoon of soap and go ahead and just dump 2 teaspoons of water in there right away and see what happens. But right now I'm going to stick with just working to get the dart in good. I'm really excited, but the last 2 shaves have made me think the dart was something I'd have to return or sell or something like that. But I'm very encouraged, very happy. So the soap, we'll put that away, and I'm going to clean up and be back with you. All right, it's time to throw on some balm. I wish that I could have been around when Soap Commander put out Drive, which is leather and vetiver, the soap, because this is just awesome. I really enjoy this scent. This does have menthol, but I'm in a location right now where it's a little warmer than my normal environment. And so let's just see if I enjoy this cooling menthol. Sometimes menthol feels more like a burning than a cooling. I wonder if the menthol is something that often bothers irritation with the skin. It kind of feels like it's doing that right now. I might ask around. We'll see. But I love the scent on this stuff. When the menthol scent goes away, this is good, good, good. The PolSilver is a very popular blade for good reason. I'm going to put an X on this one and make this one that I just see how long I can make it go. And we will, some guys go 100 shaves. We'll just see what this blade has to offer. Since I've had some blades work well and some blades not, it totally makes sense that puts this razor right on the edge of my comfort zone. And that, if that's true, then that also makes sense that I would perhaps have to work a little bit to find the technique that works best for this razor, for my skin. If you've got tougher skin, you may not go through any of this at all. If you've got more sensitive skin, you may especially need to hear some of these words. But I'm really happy about the cutting angle that I kind of discovered. So if it feels rough, especially in the neck area, bring the handle in just until it stops feeling as rough. You can still feel the cutting, but it feels uniform and much lighter, and you don't feel like you're generating irritation. Hopefully that's helpful to you if you've got a dart and are feeling it a little bit too more than you want to. We are cleaned up, so we're good. So happy. Can't wait to see how this feels tomorrow. I've got next few shaves are going to be all Katie's Bubbles. I bought a bunch. I brought several of those because there are some of those that I just haven't tried yet that have just been sitting in a tub waiting for me. And it's a great base. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to get a hold of those. All right. With the new discovery, I believe I am a big fan so far of the dart. We'll see how it goes because this is just the fourth shave with it. We're happy with the lather and the soap. Feel very good about that. Love the scent of this balm. The burning sensation is almost gone now. And even this guy right here, you saw him being a little red, a little weeper there. He has stopped on his own. I do see some redness up here, but I don't think I noticed that before I put on the balm. I wonder if my skin has a little reaction to menthol. We'll see. All right. I think we're done. I hope there was some information here that helped you. I know I made some discoveries tonight. So take care. Have a good night.